Good morning, everyone. For teleSUR, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. To begin this morning, Belgian authorities are conducting 6 raids around Brussels to hunt down suspects linked to Friday's Paris attacks. Now, the raids come after Belgian Prime Minister Charles Michel addressed Parliament earlier today to announce a new set of measures to crack down on suspected terrorists. Now, the raids also come as French and Belgian authorities are searching for Abdelhamid Al-Mahoud, the Islamic State mastermind behind Friday's attacks, after a video of him speaking emerged on social media. And we actually have an update to this story. We now know that he was killed. According to the French prosecutor's office, that person, one of the key suspects, was killed in a raid yesterday. And today marks 3 years since peace talks between the FARC guerrillas and the Colombian government began. Social movements and organizations from civil society will send a letter to both delegations in Havana requesting them to speed up the negotiations. And in that same spirit, the FARC guerrillas issued a statement urging the government and Colombians in general to focus on issues in which there is agreement to move forward in the peace process. The FARC leadership said it is not the moment to, quote, stir waters. And as teleSUR and The Intercept revealed yesterday, the United States National Security Agency has been spying on Venezuelan state-owned oil company PDVSA. After the revelation, Venezuelan authorities did react. President Nicolas Maduro announced his government will hand an official letter to the U.S. Embassy protesting against the spying program. Maduro says the program breaks international law.
You think that Venezuela is spying on other countries? Do you think that the world is trying to spy on the United States? We are all working to go forward and develop. We simply cannot accept this. It's wrong. It's a violation of international law. No country under any circumstances is allowed to intervene in another country's affairs.
Protests are rocking Haiti's capital. Hundreds say a fraud was carried out by the governing party in October's general elections. At least 2 senators were wounded on Wednesday when the opposition demonstrators and police clashed. The country is preparing for a second round of voting set for December 27th. Meanwhile, Ecuadorian President Rafael Correa announced that he will not run for another term in office. The announcement comes as the National Assembly is debating a set of constitutional amendments which include the possibility of consecutive presidential re-election. Currently, Ecuador's constitution only allows re-election for 2 consecutive terms. A group of 5 Syrian nationals were detained in Honduras' airport in Tegucigalpa. Authorities are trying to find the real identity of the 5 Syrian men who were traveling with stolen Greek passports. Their flight was headed for the United States, which has caused some concerns from U.S. authorities. According to international organizations, Mexico is the #1 country in the Americas with teen pregnancy, especially for young teens between the ages of 12 and 19 years of age. Many maternal health and reproductive rights activists say a combination of social stigmas, sexual crimes, and poor government policies fuels this problem. Our correspondent Clayton Kahn now reports.
When she was 16, Norma had her son. Now she's 32 and reflects upon the difficulties that adolescent and young mothers face.
While you see all of your friends going to high school, you are raising a child, without really having an idea on how to raise a kid, nor have you even finished growing up yourself. So you are a girl raising a child.
She joins a group of sexual and reproductive rights activists here in front of the residence of Mexico's president, demanding that the authorities put into practice comprehensive measures to tackle teen pregnancy, especially for young adolescents and girls between 10 and 14 years of age.
The national strategy of preventing adolescent pregnancy hasn't even contemplated these girls, that according to government statistics from 2010 through 2013, there have been more than 10,000 girls that have become mothers at that age.
Other rights activists echo the concern, pointing to social stigmas and poor educational programs. They also underscore that at least 40% of adolescent pregnancies are a result of sexual crimes and rape.
Women, adolescents, and youth who live in conditions of poverty have difficulty accessing education. Or even if they have access to it, it's of such poor quality that it does not give a perspective of formulating their future.
With the problem so widespread, international organizations such as the United Nations Population Fund has had to take on a larger role, focusing their attention on the communities most affected by teen pregnancies.
UNFPA is working with indigenous populations, Afro-descendants, adolescents in poor communities. And what we're doing exactly is what they've lacked. Provide them information, education, and services.
According to activists, the ever-increasing inequality in Mexico that leaves a greater gap in access to needed education, combined with impunity in relation to the prosecution of sexual crimes, attributes to the estimated daily 1,250 childbirths by teen mothers. Clayton Khan, teleSUR, Mexico City.
New information has emerged regarding the recent attacks in Paris carried out by the Islamic State group. The French government is in the spotlight as a local magazine revealed that Syrian authorities had offered French Prime Minister Manuel Valls a list of French jihadis affiliated to the Islamic State in Syria. Now, the information is yet to be confirmed, but it is already generating questions regarding a recent package of constitutional amendments designed to give more power to the government. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is meeting with her Austrian counterpart, Werner Faymann. The meeting will focus on Europe's refugee crisis, and it comes after the Austrian government announced plans to build a border fence with Slovenia to stop the refugee influx. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov criticized the attitude of some governments that are conditioning anti-terrorist cooperation to the role of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad in the country.
There have been no agreements on President Bashar al-Assad's non-participation in whatever stage of political process. In fact, some countries, including our Turkish colleagues, came up with such ideas, but did not get consensual support. Therefore, to say that someone has agreed not to participate in something is incorrect.
Meanwhile, the Islamic State group has announced it has killed 2 foreign hostages. The men, one Danish and one Chinese national, had been featured in ISIS propaganda posters offering to sell them to whoever paid a ransom for them. According to analysts, the terrorist group would have killed them after not being able to get their money from their kidnapping. The FIFA corruption scandal continues evolving, and a key witness has stepped forward now. The head of the Chilean Football Federation, Sergio Jadwe, resigned on Wednesday and swiftly left the country for the United States. Now, according to local sources, the man would serve as a witness in the ongoing FIFA corruption probe. He will be working as an FBI informant in the case. Archaeologists in Mexico discovered the remains of a high-ranking Aztec figure in the ruins of Zoltepec, Tocoaque. Now, officials believe that the discovery will shed some new light on the ancient Aztec culture, since the remains date to pre-Hispanic times. Pottery and decorative rocks were also found with the remains. And we once again, I'll return to our top story there that we had an update on. Abdelhamid Amahud, one of the main suspects for organizing those Paris attacks last week. He evidently, according to French officials, was killed yesterday. Continue to check our website for the absolute latest on that information and for everything else we report to you. Also, join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you back here in just a few hours. For teleSUR English, I'm Cody Weddle.